Hey, welcome back to the series that we've been doing on Evermore. I've been going track by track to see if I can find a deeper meaning within each of the songs. Today we're on the last track of the regular edition of the album, and it's the title track called Evermore. But before getting into that, I wanted to address a couple of things that are going on lately. First of all, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. We just hit that a couple days ago, and I'm still in shock that that's even a thing. I could not believe that 3 months ago, I didn't even think 3 people would want to hear or listen to anything that I have to say. So I genuinely am very thankful every single day that I get comments from you guys that are always so nice and just such a nice community that I feel like we've grown here. So just thank you for that. And then speaking of the community, you might notice that this video has a little bit different style thumbnail, and it's much better than anything I've ever made. So I want to shout out one of my subscribers who made this for me. This is their handle right here. It was very nice of them just to create this for me, so I wanted to use this one and shout them out. So thank you to Space A Man. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but thank you for that. And then one other thing to talk about before getting into today's video. I just posted a poll a couple minutes ago. By the time this goes up, it might have been yesterday. But I just posted a poll about how you want me to handle the Reputation series. I know that there's an entire tour album on Netflix, so I wanted to see if you guys wanted me to go track by track like I normally do. I'm going to do that regardless, but do you want the Reputation tour performance in that video so you'll get like a daily tour content kind of? Or do you want me to save it as an entire experience for the end? So I want to see kind of what you guys think about that, so let me know. I won't actually be starting that series for at least a couple more days, considering we have a couple more tracks to get through in Evermore. But I wanted to put that out early enough, that way you guys can kind of give me your feedback and opinions on it. So let me know about that, but I have talked enough, so let's just get straight into the video. Before actually getting started, this song does feature Bonnie Iver. I feel like everyone says that a little bit different, so I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but he was featured on Exile, so I'm wondering if it's going to follow suit in the same style.
Gray November, I've been down since July.
Seasonal depression people rise.
Motion capture put me in a bad light. I replay my footsteps on each stepping stone, trying to find the one where I went wrong. Writing letters addressed to the fire.
Alright, so let's read that first verse. It says, "Gray November, I've been down since July. Motion captured put me in a bad light. I replay my footsteps on each stepping stones, trying to find the one where I went wrong. Writing letters addressed to the fire." So it seems like something significant happened earlier in the year for this person, and they're reliving every single decision that they might have made that led up to that event and trying to figure out if they played any part in it, or if there was maybe something that they could do to prevent it. I feel like that's a feeling a lot of people have when it's circumstances that are outside of their control. Because, for example, I relate to that. It feels like when I don't have control over a situation and something bad happens, I rack my brain to see, like, what could I have maybe done to make that better? So I feel like maybe it was something that she couldn't have prevented, but it still happened. But I think we'll just have to keep listening.
And I was catching my breath, staring out an open window, catching my death. And I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore.
I feel like that chorus kind of goes along with what I said, because it says this pain would be evermore. So it's kind of like this pain will remain no matter what I do, and you find it peculiar, so you don't understand why this event has such a chokehold on you in a way, but it does for some reason.
Hey December, guess I'm feeling unmoored. Can't remember what I used to fight for. I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause find the very moment all was lost, sending signals to be double crossed.
Man, so like every verse is kind of short, yet there's so much to like talk about. That second verse said, "Hey December, guess I'm feeling unmoored. Can't remember what I used to fight for. I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause. On the very moment, all was lost, sending signals to be double crossed." I feel like "can't remember what I used to fight for" has so much meaning because in an average relationship or just something in general, when you give up or you stop fighting for something, that's when you truly lost all your feelings, I feel like. Because when you're going to argue or you're going to do things that you want to save a relationship for, that means that you still care about it. Because fighting can be perceived as bad, but that just means that you want to solve a problem with your partner or something like that. So I feel like when you can't remember what you even fight for, it's like you have no more effort that you want to put into this situation, this person, or whatever is going on. It just feels like you're about to close that chapter of your life in whatever situation it is. And then I don't know if it's because I'm associating this with like a sequel to Exile, but it said like, "You're not my homeland, what am I defending?" Or it said something along those lines. So at that point in this same relationship in Exile, it was worth fighting for. She was saying like, "You didn't hear my signals, like I want you to fight for me, I want to keep you." But now it feels like, "I've begged you, I've done everything I can in order to make you care, but if you're not going to care, then I'm not going to care." And I feel like that even goes hand in hand with sending signals to be double crossed. It's like, I gave you those signs and you double crossed them, as in not seeing them or not noticing them, or maybe you have noticing them but doing nothing about it. So I could be very wrong on this, but I'm taking this song as a whole as a sequel to Exile and see if this still remains true as we keep going.
And I was catching my breath, barefoot in the wildest winter, catching my death. And I couldn't be sure, I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore.
Cannot think of all the cost, all the things that will be lost. Or can we just get a pause to be certain we'll be
Okay, so there he is. It doesn't seem like he got his own verse, but maybe they're going to be doing that like fighting / talking through the bridge. So let's see.
we'll be tall again. Where the weather be the frost, or the violence of the dog days. I'm on waves, I'm being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go across?
And when I was shipwrecked,
All the costs,
I thought of you
all the things that will be lost now.
in the cracks of light.
Just get apart.
I dreamed of you,
To be certain we'll be told and be thinking.
and it was real enough
Rather be the front.
to get me through.
All the violence of the dark days. Out on waves.
This one seems so much more frantic. It's almost like desperation.
On waves of being told.
I swear.
Is there a line that we can just go across?
Okay, so let me go back and kind of read the conversation that they just had. Justin Vernon said, "Can't think of all the cost and the things that will be lost, or can we just get a pause? To be certain we'll be tall again. Whether weather to be frost or the violence of the dog days, I'm on waves out being tossed. Is there a line that I could just cross?" The lyric "can we get a pause" reminds me of, if anyone's ever seen Friends, that whole like we're on a break thing. It almost seems like this person is trying to say like, we're going through a rough patch, or there's something that we need to individually do to maybe grow as people or do something along those lines. And he's like, can we get a pause because one day we'll be tall again? And that kind of reminds me of trees. So I kind of think of self-growth in a way. And then once they've had a chance to do that, they'll come back to each other and they'll flourish as kind of like a relationship. And then I feel like it keeps including like weather or time passing elements, because the violence of dog days, I feel like that's associated with like summer, and I could be wrong on that, but I think of summer, And then like to be frost, you kind of think of winter. The whole background of this lyric video is like winter, so it's kind of like the seasons of love a little bit to me. And then Taylor's part is reminiscing of exile because it seems like she's still calling out the behavior or the things that you missed. It's like you want to break, you want to figure things out, but it's almost that you're too late because he says that he's out on waves. So it's almost like that Kelsey Ballerini song to me where it's like, were you blind or blindsided? Kind of reminds me of that where he's like, I'm out in the middle of the ship. There's like no lifeboats or anything like that. And then she kind of says, well, you're out on the water in your ship, but I'm shipwrecked. You weren't there when I fully collapsed. And in the cracks of light, I still dream that you would be the person to fix that. So coming to me now saying, can you get a pause to work through your possible problems when you really didn't help me during mine? It's almost like you're asking this person a lot more than what you were willing to give in the opposite situation. And I feel like I have so much to say, but then it also kind of reminds me a little bit of The Last Time, the other male-female collab that she has that I listened to on Red's Taylor's version, because that was another instance of like, she said, this is the last time I'm giving you a chance. And it just seems like these people are taking these chances and not really changing at all. And that's the problem that she keeps facing in these relationships, or at least in the context of these songs, of course. But
And I was catching my breath, floors of a cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar, this pain wouldn't be forevermore, evermore, evermore. This pain wouldn't be forevermore, evermore.
something I might have not mentioned throughout this entire series, which is kind of very late to be saying this considering this is the last track of the album, but the production is so incredible on this album, like down to every single song. Closure was a little bit different. I still think it had good production. That was just more of a questionable one, but overall through and through, this is an absolutely amazingly produced album. I just love the instrumentation that she's used on every single song. But at this very end, I'm not gonna lie, it confused me a little bit considering it says, and I was catching my breath, floors of a cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain wouldn't be forevermore. So the reason why it kind of confused me a little bit is just because I feel like the whole conversation was saying that she's going to be in pain forever. But in my head or in my situation, I'm gonna assume that she finally let this person go, or she did whatever she needed to do to move on from whatever situation it is and realize that life will move on with or without this person or whatever situation she's going through in that moment, and pain isn't ever going to be evermore. And the one thing I really like about the end of the song was floors of a cabin creaking underneath my step, because that feels like a callback to the very beginning where she said that she's like counting her steps. And now it's saying with it creaking, that would be associated with like a scary noise. It's like when you're in a cabin and it starts creaking, you start freaking out. And it's almost like beginning of song Taylor Swift would have been afraid of that. But now she's realizing she has that confidence, or she's let go of whatever she needed to do to like heal. So like even the creaks of the steps don't scare her. And maybe I'm taking that very literally, but I think it's almost like a story of like getting your confidence back or just healing from a situation. So I really liked how that one ended off. But that was the end of Evermore, the title track. Tell me what you thought of the song. Tell me if you have any perspective to add to the song. I know you guys always have great advice on these things, so let me know. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which we're going to get into the 2 bonus tracks of Evermore.